welcome to the Step Over, the Ottawa-based, Ottawa-focused soccer podcast that puts out episodes, whenever I feel like it. I'm your host, Josh Lemoyne, and Atletico Ottawa season is kicking off pretty soon, Saturday, June 26th. So fans are excited about that. And I'm not going to say, not too long after the club was announced, there's a new supporters group that announced itself as well. So in the absence of actual games to go to, the Capital City Supporters Group, or CCSG, has been making its presence felt online. Now, I'm joined by Eddie Benhin, who's been on the show before, and for some reason, I invited him back. But he's here this time as a member of CCSG, but he's also joined by fellow members Thomas Stockting and Daniel Duff. Fellas, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Happy to be back.
Right on.
Thanks for having us on.
Can I just say before we go any further, you are arguably the first Canadian that I've met that hasn't called me Thomas Stocking, and you pronounced that T that came after my K, and you're now one of my favorite human beings.
I try my best, So you guys talked on your season preview a bit about haircuts. Now you're both looking good, but maybe like a little shaggy. Have you guys been doing much, doing much in the way of like haircuts during lockdown? Like how you guys been kind of taking care of yourselves?
I'll let Eddie go first with this one because he's always the one that looks fresh.
Always.
I mean, the breaks between the lockdowns, whenever those happen, I just try to get a haircut and try to make them last until the next break. But right now my hair is kind of looking like a mess, but just some conditioner, shampoo, and look fresh for the live shows. That's all that matters.
It's looking good.
Daniel's got a secret weapon though.
Yeah, I cut my own hair and then I get my wife to trim it all up afterwards too. So
beautiful.
I got the Malcolm Shaw treatment. I can I cut my own hair and I keep offering to do it for Eddie, but he just won't. He won't let me do it. He won't let me touch his hair. So. Might have to do it one night after the pub or something.
Nah,
no
way. After the pub, you want to go before the pub, I think.
Yeah.
You're gonna...
I can't betray my barber like that. Come on.
That's it. Thomas, what about you?
Yeah, it's sort of the same as Eddie, sort of between lockdowns, hence why I keep going from having like a relatively nice haircut to an absolute mop on my head. When I was unemployed, my girlfriend would cut it a little bit. She hated the process. There's tears involved. She's worried she's doing something negative to my hair. I don't have a big affiliation with my hair, so it doesn't bother me that much. But since I got a job back again in last October, she's been a lot more reluctant to take the clippers to my head, which is a shame, as the opening of the barbers keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah.
Across the river now, the borders have opened.
Okay, so to start, there's probably a lot of people wondering who is the Capital City Supporters Group, and even people who maybe aren't familiar with soccer culture, or football culture. Can you just give us a bit of a rundown on who or what CCSG is? Open floor.
We've got to let the founder go for this one.
Got it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sort of it's an evolving philosophy, but we're, obviously as Ottawa's newest and most active supporters group, we believe that it's the responsibility to help create the best fan forward atmosphere on match day, and we aim to reinvent what traditional supporters culture is by creating sort of additional excitement and enthusiasm and brand awareness with our digital content throughout the year. And the best way to do it is to create content for fans by fans. And that creates a level of engagement, with a level of creativity and a level of kinsmanship amongst our members that you probably wouldn't find in a lot of other places. So it's a very unique philosophy. We're still very, very young, but we're a very ambitious supporters group that we see match day and the bells and whistles to go with that as the ground level, and we want to expand on supporters culture, which we feel and we've seen as rabid Premier League supporters or Serie A or what have you. Now we got Euro on supporters. Everybody's got a team. We think supporters culture is 24/7, and we're aiming to create the spark that will lead to a fireworks display of support here in the city, because not only does this new club deserve that, but the city deserves it as well, because we had a rough breakup, our last football club, and we need to do everything we can and more to make sure that the roots are firmly planted in the Ottawa sporting landscape for Atletico Ottawa. And it was put up or shut up time, and that's sort of how the group sort of came to fruition, in the sense was, I was on my way home on the train. I got the email from the club that it had folded. And I swore to myself that in that moment that I, like, if there's anything that I could do to, if there's ever another chance to have another kick at the can, if we had another sporting club in Ottawa, a football club in Ottawa, that I would do everything that I could. I just moved from Toronto prior, so I wasn't heavily involved with the Fury club, to be completely honest with you. But now that I've relocated to Ottawa and I've been here for a while, this was a great opportunity to get everybody involved, and the rest is sort of, the train has left the station, so to speak.
Right on. So something I think that really seems to set CCSG apart from other supporter groups, like maybe across the league, is there really seems to be this big focus on content creation and like really covering the team. There's video content, written pieces. Why has that been such a focus? And is that something that's done by supporter groups elsewhere? Like was there a particular inspiration by having that focus?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things that I am not a Gunners fan, but one of the things that they have done
Eddie.
that has been very inspirational.
And Thomas.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You
they
got two
both
here.
are.
Okay.
You Palace fan?
Yeah, but
I can't smack talk. Palace fans can't do that.
Yeah, I'm a Pompey supporter, so we're hurting.
But
But
didn't exist.
There was a while there. Yeah, there's a while there where that was uncertain either. But no, I like what the fan base was doing in London with the Arsenal fans, and they sort of inspired me to do more and be creative. I personally think that like I said, just creating content and engagement is sort of the way that the world is going now. And it was always part of the ethos of what the supporters group was going to be. It was sort of untapped landscape in the supporters landscape here in Ottawa. I felt like it was open season and fair territory to go out and do it. So I literally headhunted Thomas and Eddie for that specific reason, was to create content in the off season after the Ireland games.
Bottom of the barrel, eh?
Yeah, right. No, yeah. No, not even remotely. No, these are extremely creative, talented guys that put everything they have into what they do. And this has turned into, in terms of creativity, like a kind of a rock band. Like this is, it's not always easy. Band practice isn't always flawless, and there's give and take for everything, but there's a chemistry that we've developed over the last year that seems to really facilitate everyone's roles and maximizes them to the fullest. So everyone gets to do what they want to be able to do and excel at it. And, this digital content is not only, it helps create and generate enthusiasm for the club, which is its main purpose, of course. And it also, it allows us to flex our creative muscles as individuals who love to produce this type of content anyways. I mean, I have a film background. Thomas is a journalist. Eddie is going to school for just the same. And he's the only person that's in this sort of triad here that isn't an expat of some sort. So, he's the local guy that has all the connections, that knows everything. And Thomas is the journalist that knows how to handle himself in front of a live camera and be the most inquisitive person that they can. And I like to make things, I like to wrap things in a pretty little bow and package it and sell it to everybody else. So it's been really fun doing this. And, we're happy that people are enjoying the content. We're happy that they're consuming the content. And we love that the club is growing, ever more eager to participate in the content that we create.
Fantastic. So have you received any kind of feedback from the league and the club with your efforts so far?
Dan, you're in a bizarre box. Who are you pointing to?
Yeah,
yeah, you're kind of in the bottom corner. You just pointed outside our screen.
Yeah, like everybody, I feel like this is a Smashing Pumpkins interview where I'm taking all the questions.
All right. So. We've gotten some feedback. Marty Thompson from the Canadian Premier League wrote an article about us. And he follows us. A lot of journalists do follow Capital City. When we were doing the teasers for the new signings, we got a lot of feedback there of people trying to figure out what our teasers were. But yeah, we've getting a lot of feedback. The team is pretty helpful, giving us interviews and players. And we had Fernando, which these two kept a secret from me, but that's a different story. But yeah, we've been getting a lot of feedback. We appreciate it. We're just going to keep trying to become better in everything we do.
Yeah, so you didn't know Fernando was going to join, eh?
So, I had a feeling because, who else? Like, a special guest is coming. I'm like, okay, it's either Mista or Fernando. I'm like, I think Fernando is. So, and he showed up, and I was right.
It's one of those things where, like, the connection didn't come overnight either. I got on board with Capital City towards the tail end of the Island Games, and Eddie came on board not long after that as well. And there was all those months beforehand. It wasn't just Daniel sitting idly by. It was he's a charismatic guy, as he said. He's worked in the film industry, knows how to build connections. He knows where the connections should be built as well. Very intuitive in that sort of sense. And it was a case of he's a very, as I said, nice and approachable guy, and you go to the viewing parties, get conversations going, and none of what we do today is given to us. The club didn't turn around and go, hey, look, CCSG want to do stuff on Twitter, we're going to give them stuff. That came because Daniel grinded. That came because Daniel put in connections. That came because, as Daniel said at the start, he didn't want another club to fold in the city. He wanted football culture to just keep growing, and to make that work, there was no one covering the club. The Canadian Premier League do what they can, but again, like the pandemic hit everyone, they don't have a ton of staff writers, they don't have a ton of money to do things, and the club themselves have just been established. They have no one in-house for that either. So he saw a gap in the market, he decided he wanted to do something about it, and it all came because he's a nice, approachable guy who knew what he wanted, and he knew how to get it as well. And at the end of the day, you have to be confident with your skills. And look, he could have been a total, pardon my language, but arse, and the CCSG would not be where it is today. You know what I mean? He grinded, and then having Eddie on board with his experience with 613 and the connections has been fantastic as well. He's getting better and better every month. It's one of those where still a young guy. He's got some areas to improve, and he's got an attitude problem. But apart from that, he supports a great football club, and he's getting better every day. So it's real good fun. As Eddie said, we're getting some good positive feedback, but nothing over the moon, and nor would I expect it at the end of the day. There's just an element of, we're just going to keep what we're doing. We don't do it for the praise. We do it because hopefully there's a few supporters out there who want content, and they want to be able to read about their club, and CBC aren't doing it, and Le Droit does it from time to time, and in all fairness, at least they do it, but no one else is doing it. I come from a country where I turn on any newspaper's website and football is on the front page, and I was just like, I need to be part of something that football's on the front page of.
It has been sort of interesting to see I don't know how to particularly articulate myself in this moment here, but where you're right, there has not been a game at TD Place, and to me, a supporters club is supposed to support the club no matter what, through thick and thin. And these have been absolutely weird circumstances where the previous club had folded. This rabbit comes out of a hat from Spain. The pandemic hits. We've played 8 games in PEI, and the club needs all the help it can get in terms of brand awareness and sort of any notoriety and support whatsoever. So like what other option is there to do other than sit on your hands? So we decided that was not something that we were going to do. And these guys have been working, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of hours. I mean, I don't want to speak for anybody here, but it's turning into a part-time job.
I mean, you touched on a few points, and like I think it's great, especially like the video content, and especially Thomas, like you said, like in the absence of traditional media coverage, like I think the kind of content that you're creating is pretty necessary for the growth of both the club and the league. So I think everything that you guys are doing is fantastic. Now the most recent project, we did kind of touch on it. On Tuesday, you had your 2021 season preview broadcast on YouTube. Now, I watched it twice. It was great, except for Eddie's shirt. It was great. And
to wear it, but
we asked him to change. We were like,
he did.
I'm not changing.
And he was adamant.
Put something more chill on. And he was like, no, I'm wearing my loud shirt. And I was like, well, this is a new style. Clearly 2021 Eddie coming out of a pandemic.
Yeah.
I know, Eddie, you were trying to frame this as a bold shirt. I'm gonna side with Thomas. It was a loud shirt.
Yeah, it was. He looked like he was on Gilligan's Island,
Okay, that's fine.
There's a fine line between floral and Hawaiian, and yours was veering on the Hawaiian side, which just ain't cool.
Listen, the team came back from Spain. Hawaii's hot. Spain is hot.
I get it. All right. No, you packed a lot. You packed a lot into that hour.
I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think we need a different segment with Eddie, which isn't bold shirts for bold statements. It's tangible links, like Spain and Hawaii. Pack it in.
Maybe that's the game. Maybe that's the game show with like buzzers. Tangible links with Eddie Benhin. These two things are absolutely not related.
It's gonna get Sean.
Come up with a phrase that links the two.
I'm purposely gonna buy more loud shirts now just for this. You'll see me.
Okay.
Do it, man.
Okay, we're getting back here.
Now you packed a lot into that hour. You had midfielder Zach Verhoeven join you, director of ticketing Nick Ryan. You had some fans. There's Johnny, Megan, and Brandon. And your special guest was Fernando from the CEO of Atletico Ottawa. So how was it putting that all together? Getting all those guests confirmed for this 1 hour special, all those graphics, like it seems like a big undertaking. How is that putting that all together?
That's definitely a Dan question, because literally he like points us in the right direction, and Eddie and I talk. All of it's Dan. Like he's just a bloody workhorse.
He doesn't stop.
Well, so
Daniel.
Yeah. So, I used to be a third assistant director in film business. And one of the things that the responsibility that you would do is manage you kind of in that role, you oversight. I'm not going to go on this. I'll give you the Coles Notes version here, but the role encompasses, you literally have your hands in every single pot, in every single department. You're responsible to make sure that every single department is ready to go when it's time to shoot. You liaison to get film permits for locations. You have to work with law enforcement to make sure that there's paid off-duty officers, everything from props to actors to scheduling. It's sort of, so like, to me, this is just like on snooze, but but it is though. Like, so like I this is fun for me. I really have a really great time doing this, reaching out to everybody. We've made some contacts with the club. It's been a relationship that's been built through trust and loyalty and friendship too. Mutual respect for sure. That's the biggest one. Thanks, Thomas. And they have spoken to us and said that they really appreciate what we're doing, and if there's an olive branch or anything in particular that they can be of help to us with our over excited agenda, then they were happy to participate. So, I reached out to the club and said, I really, this is the idea. This is what I want to do. I wanted to have, at first I wanted to have the coach on to at the end to announce his starting 11, which would have been wicked, but he's kind of busy.
Just a little bit.
Kind of busy right now.
You got a dream, though. You got a dream.
Yeah, so that's exactly it, right? So you build the idea around a few ideas, which was how do we after a year of being a supporters group we literally have like new members signing up every single day. It's awesome. I was like, how do we find a way to get these fans engaged in our season preview?
And involved.
And how do we answer some questions that a lot of people have had regarding to the tickets. This is an absolutely bizarre ticket rollout, one of the most weirdest that you'll ever see ever, and there's a lot of questions that a lot of people who have going to spend their money on, they want them answered. So it's like things like that. We prioritize what was important to the average fan. We prioritized what we wanted to see in it, and it was just everybody kind of has a wish list, and away I go. That I wanted, I want this club plays downtown. This club plays in a city. I really wanted, the sort of urban, aesthetic that we shot all the promos with the guys and stuff like that through the back alleys and the graffiti. So like that allowed me to elaborate on what the design and the graphics were going to be for the whole show in terms of, this thing is supposed to be urban and much music and alleyways and Rick Mercer, like all that stuff. And it all just sort of comes together. I do digital communications now in Ottawa. So it's sort of this weird, beautiful world where you're doing graphic design, you're doing media relations, and you're doing filming segments. So like, it's just all comes together. But the guys basically tell me I'm full of it, and then they just hack my idea to bits, and then we go that basically with what they want.
Yeah, and we just sort of figure out how we're going. Like, as I said, Dan has this big idea. We talk about how we can make it work together. Like, this isn't our first live video either. You got to remember, Eddie, Dan, and I put together a season review at the tail end of the Island Games when obviously we were much smaller, not like as popular at that point. We're all doing sort of our own thing, and that was the season review for 2020 Island Games. Was really the first time we were like, all right, let's do this together and let's create something. And that was a bloody nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. We tried to hit the ground running, and we tried to include so much stuff into it. We're using this program that Dan had selected, and he hadn't really used it before, so he was producing all of it behind the scenes. These things aren't just thrown on automatically. Dan's like mixing this show behind the scenes, throwing on the graphics as we're talking, bringing guests on, pulling them off the screen. There's a lot that's going into it at all times. And we weren't as big or as popular. So if you go and see, I think the only person we got on, Nick Ryan was on director of ticketing, an absolute babe. So we had a great time doing it, but we came out of it and we're like, oh, that was a little bit harder than I was expecting. And we've done a couple of videos since, individually as well as together. And Eddie's been doing a lot of stuff with 6 on 3 on the side. And for me, this one was like the most polished one we've done. And the realization as a presenter myself for something live like this, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do community television in my day job. Like, I'm kind of used to being in front of the camera at this point after the last few years, but live, I don't do live as much. I do a lot of things as live, but at the same time, I've still got this safety net of, oh, if I say something wrong, I could swear right now and you're going to beat me out, and we're quite all right. But that's not so much the case on live. And I think we tried to do too much maybe in the review, and in the preview, we just incorporated more people and really just sort of gave them the platform, give the players the platform, give the fans, which is arguably the most important bit. I loved getting Zach on for the fans to be able to see him. But my favorite bit was getting the fans on, getting Megan on, getting Johnny on, getting Brandon on, and just having conversations about football we wish we could have done in a pub in Ottawa for the last 12 months.
I hope we get there. And you're right, it was very polished. It was a great presentation. Daniel clearly did a great job behind the scenes. Eddie, the shirt aside, did a great job. Thomas did a great job. I do have one issue, though, I wanted to address with Thomas. I got a bone to pick with you. I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here. Now, you said the word soccer, okay?
Oh, I know.
How dare you?
You said the word soccer in your preview.
I kicked him off the screen when he did it, though, just for the record.
No, hold on. I think I might be alone here, but I'm from Canada, and I'm a soccer defender. Okay. Now, when you said the word, it was like you bit into a cookie expecting chocolate chips and getting raisins. That was the look on your face. Okay. Now, but I was raised with the word Canada, and rather than attack you for trying to sully the word soccer, I want to invite you to feel comfortable using it from time to time. Okay. So you're from the UK, is that right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Okay, 100 years ago, people from the UK brought that beautiful word soccer over here, okay, and gifted the word to Canada and left it here, ingrained it in our culture. Now, I lived in England for a little time, and when I was there, I participated in the local culture. I went to shows in the West End. I tried prawn cocktail flavored chips.
Amazing. Thank you kindly.
They are Walker.
Not bad.
No,
Not bad. The Marmite ones, I'm gonna forget those, okay? And while I acknowledge that football is also 100% correct, I want you to commit to, from time to time, here in Ottawa, calling the sport soccer. Can you do that?
I can do it. I just cannot guarantee to like control my facial expressions.
All right.
It's a little bit like, when your stomach drops and your face just does something without you realizing. It was one of those moments.
It's just participating in the local culture. That's all I'm saying,
I'll try harder. I make sure in the next video I use the word soccer, and whilst I'm eating a beaver tail.
That was better, by the way. That was better.
Yeah, I've had a glass of wine this evening, so it's
there you go. A
little bit more inebriated. There we go.
So the season preview covered a lot of bases, but it didn't cover everything. So I got a few questions that I'm going to put to all three, get everyone involved. So the first question you got is, by the end of the season, okay, who do you think is going to be Ottawa's top goal scorer? Now, I'll start with Eddie.
Oh, you got to start with Eddie. He had bold statements about the strikers.
He did. Bold shirts, bold statements.
Okay, I mean, it's hard now because I don't know who's going to play. But
Sure. But by the end of the season,
season, 28 games. I really like Jean-Claude Lawson. He is going to score a lot of goals. If it's not him, the top goal scorer, I'm giving it to Webb.
Or you get 2 picks.
That's true. That's kind of you're kind of hedging
Lawson.
there.
Fine, Lawson. It's Lawson.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll go Thomas next.
Lawson's locked in, apparently. I don't know. I think there's a really good point up front. I'd really like to see Malcolm Shaw starting the first game, but I do agree. I think we've got 3 very good, very interesting, and very not much known about our 3 centre forwards that are in the side between Wright, Lawson, and Shaw. And because of that, I see a lot of rotation. So I'm actually going to go more to a wider player and say that Telfer's going to come out with the most goals, just because I think he's going to play for longer, more minutes.
Okay, I like that. Okay, and Dan.
Well, he stole it from me. I was gonna say Ryan for sure. For almost legitimate, I was saying he's gonna play more minutes. He's a beast inside that box. And when you start getting those corners and stuff like that, which there tends to be a lot of in some of these, in the Canadian League, a lot of these sort of corner kicks. He's just got the muscle. So I'm going. It's a tie because I'm not acquiescing my pick either. I vote for Telford, and if I had to be like Eddie and insist to have 2, I'm a seniority man. I'm a labor guy, so seniority rules. So Malcolm Shaw would be my number 2, and he came on and he guaranteed us. So hey, listen, hey, Malcolm, yeah.
He did in the interview guarantee us, but I spoke to Dylan Powley not too long ago, and we've got an article wrote up about that. And Dylan Powley wrote that. I was talking to him and I was like, who is the most lethal player in training? And he was describing the size of Shaw and Wright and Lawson, but the finishing of Telfer is what stood out for him. So I think that I like Eddie's bold shout of Lawson, and I think that if it comes off, I'll be buying him a beer. But Telfer for me.
Okay, right on. I think I'm gonna go with Shaw. Actually, he seems like a guy who's gonna get he's gonna play cleanup. There's gonna be a lot of messy goals from him, so that's gonna be my call there.
A little bit like Jonathan David, actually. A lot of
very much so. Yeah,
like off the goalkeeper, fox in the box.
exactly. Exactly. First shot blocked.
Sharknado.
Shot comes in. That's it. Sharknado. So by the end of the season, who do you think will be Ottawa's minutes leader? Who is not a goalie? Well, let's go opposite way. So Dan first.
I absolutely think VT or Manilo is gonna be the minute man for sure.
I'm gonna go with John.
John.
I'm going Brandon John too. I think it's gonna be a defender just because midfield and forward depth is just too much rotation. But defensive, I mean, we have 6 defenders, so I don't think we're gonna have a lot of rotation there. And I think John is our best center back. No hate to any of the other players, but I just think he's the main guy I would see playing most of the games.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I don't think he's going to rotate as much. And towards the end of the Island games, as Eddie says, I feel like he really started shining through as a player that not only had the defensive capabilities, but real leadership qualities too.
I was going to say John as well. So just be different. I'm actually going to go with Kapoor for like a very similar reason. I think that those two are going to be just like the beasts in the middle at the back. And I think the two of them actually are going to spend some time kind of bringing up Keyshawn Ferdinand as well. I think he's going to spend a lot of time with them. But like for me, I think it's either John or Kapoor. But
I thought we could do like the Manila as like a sort of the Michael Bradley thing where he's never off.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
But we do have McKendry there as well, so
yeah, they'll play different roles, but he'll never be off. That sort of was where I was.
Oh, we'll see.
Who do you think is going to emerge at the end of the season as Ottawa's biggest rival? So start back with Eddie.
Yeah, I think. Well, actually, like let's. I'm going to start just because.
Okay, yeah, sure, Thomas. Okay.
Eddie knows the Canadian Premier League better than I do as well, and he knows the other team. So I think I want to give Eddie an extra second just to be able to like properly think about it because I think he.
So Eddie, you got to give the best answer.
Yeah, no pressure's on.
Yeah. I'm gonna pluck it out of the hat, and I'm going to go, I think that a kind of rivalry is going to develop with Edmonton. Pauli has already come out and started, like, he's got a point to prove. He's come out with social media saying he's super excited about playing them. And I just feel like just because of that and how involved Pauli gets with supporters and stuff, I feel like, I don't know, I just like the bond I felt on the phone with him immediately was like, I feel like getting behind him every minute. And I'm going to just be, as long as he's playing well against Edmonton, I'm just going to be going in on Edmonton. So that's Edmonton for me.
Okay. So Dan or Eddie, I'm going to throw it to either you now.
Yeah. So like, obviously with the NASL, Edmonton is the obvious sort of, preemptive choice. But for me, I was gonna say Halifax. We're the 2 furthest Eastern teams, and I don't know. I just think last season it was kind of getting chippy, and I know the fans on Twitter were getting pretty mouthy. So, isn't that how a rivalry is supposed to work?
I like it. All
so
right,
you
Eddie.
said it's just for this season, right?
Like by the end of the season, who do you think is going to be like the biggest rival?
Because rivalries usually, are built off, fan interaction, so away games and stuff. So obviously, many people say Forge. But I'm just trying to think of the biggest fans, on social media. And I think because of that, it's either Halifax or Forge. But I'm leaning towards Forge just because they are closer to us. And we're probably going to play them a lot. And, I mean, they won the league 2 times. And they think they're all that. But I'm telling you right now, Atletico Ottawa, we're going to beat them. And it's going to cause some rivalries for sure. Because they're arrogant. And we're pretty cocky too. Because look who our dads are. But I think I'm going Forge. Pretty much for the next couple seasons. But again, anything could change. It could be one bad tackle from Pacific, and all of a sudden we hate that team. So
I love how Eddie's come out with the "my dad's bigger than your dad."
What, you only got Hamilton as your dad? Come on, we have Atletico Madrid.
That's right. I'm actually going to go with York United. I think their rebrand's been fantastic, and I think they're going to get a lot more. Like I think they're really going to grow because of this rebrand. I think it's been handled phenomenally. And also
that's a really good point. And I think their social media presence is picked up, and whoever's running their social media channels is doing a really good job.
Needs a raise,
right?
Yeah, like everything that they've done is fantastic, and they're the closest to Ottawa. So once everything's back to normal, I'm really looking forward to going to York. Yeah, exactly. All right, I got one more. So I don't think that there's many nicknames on the team. I love a good nickname. So I came up with 3. Okay, so this is a bit of self-show on my part. Which of these do you think has the best chance of catching on? Okay, so I got Jordan the Spider Webb. Okay, Zach Verhoeven has some pretty good hair going on, so I was thinking Zach Verfloven. And for Antoine Coupland, the Chelsea Dagger.
Well, as an Arsenal fan, anything that has Chelsea in it, get it out. But I like Jordan the Spider Web. Jordan the Spider Web, Dan. I think you can make a pretty cool graphic for that.
But funny enough, I mean, I did put him on the Peace Tower on a graphic on social media, and that was sort of my clever way of making him.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, we had Coupland as the prodigy. Some person coined him the prodigy, so we had TNT Telfer because he's from TNT and he's explosive. Obviously, Shaw is Sharknado for sure. Power Gloves, Obadal. Because he's got the electronic hands that you can't rip the ball from him. And Pally, I don't know if anyone's seen Pally's social media, but he is ZZ Top. He is the sharp dressed man for sure. Absolutely. So to me, he's ZZ. I got nicknames for everybody. I don't know if they're going to catch on or not, but I'm trying.
Throw them all out there
with social media.
Sticks.
Yeah, but
Spiderweb for Floven. I like both of them actually. But
I know what Eddie's point about Chelsea Dagger and like hating it, but that's also because you got that rivalry with your dad, mate. But like Chelsea Dagger,
it's a great name.
Great cracking British phrase and like a very good song as well. So
I didn't even clue into like Chelsea FC, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that was my favorite. I was most proud of that.
Chelsea Dagger for me for sure, especially if he comes up and like scores a last minute winner or something. We're making it trend, like the dagger 100%. To the heart, like on it.
Done. All right, guys. I think that's all the questions I got for you. Thank you so much for your time. But before I let you go, where can people go to learn even more about you, and how can they get involved?
Go on, Duff. I always do the sign-outs.
You can follow us and like us on our social media at Capital City SG. That's Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And if you really want to know what's going down, you go to capitalcitysupporters.com. There you can go to our shop, watch our videos, read our news articles, and figure out whether or not you want to join us, which is what it's all about. So our membership is free. We postpone our Ministry of Football membership, which we will get into probably in another episode at some point. There's lots of ambition for that. So membership is free this year. Sign up. We have a newsletter called the Red Card Report that basically is quarterly, and it gives you all the information that you really need to know if you want to live under a rock for the football club. So, you can bat 1,000 if you just sign up at our website.
And obviously the biggest thing coming up is hopefully there's going to be some watch parties. We'll be down there. We'll be there with the flags, the pins, all this kind of stuff. Please just as comfortable as you're willing to get to me, as close as you can get to me, come say hi, come have a pint, come have a soft drink, whatever you fancy if you want to watch some football and have a chat. Eddie's our match day officer as well. So he will be leading chants both in the stadium and hopefully getting everyone riled up as well at the watch parties too. So as an in-person one, just come say hi and we can give you any info you need.